Running, crawling, creating, world building, living, thinking, healing, loving, loving, building, writing, while black.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Writing While Black. I am your hostess, Angela Riley, and your co-hostess, author Ayoka B, is also here. Hello! And today we are joined by a special guest, writer Dee Williams, author of the Affinity Saga, which is a series. Is it 2 or 3 books? I've read one. Is
Two
it
so far. Two so far.
so far? So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
just getting started.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. So, thank you so much for agreeing and coming on as a guest on Writing While Black. I want to just start off by asking about when you fell in love with writing, when you decided you wanted to be a writer, when you felt called to write.
So, first off, thank you, wonderful, wonderful ladies, for allowing me the opportunity to be on this podcast. I really do appreciate this opportunity. For me, I've always been a storyteller my entire life. Playing in the backyard with my cousins. We'd go watch Power Rangers or X-Men or something, and then we go be in the backyard and pretend to be our favorite characters. Red Ranger, Black Ranger, Green Ranger was my guy. And we pretend to make all these fantastical worlds, beating up the bad guys, saving the day. Love watching soap operas with
Backyardigans.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what we would do. We go watch something at 4 o'clock, and then by 4:30, we in the backyard pretending to be what we just saw on the TV screen. And so, we would do that and had a blast, had a good old time. Growing up in my grandmother's home, if we wanted to avoid taking naps, we had to watch soap operas with her. And so I soaked in a lot of those soap operas: Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, Guiding Light, The Bold and the Beautiful. I know all about some Thorne and Brooke and how they did dysfunctional relationships, always dysfunctional. And then as I got older, just loved watching TV shows, movies, cop shows, superhero shows, and the like. But what really got me interested in writing was I was watching the show Titans on Max back in 2021. And I was watching along with my best friend at work. And every week, I just could not stand how they were doing my characters. Every character was dysfunctional. Barely got to see them use their powers. And it's just like every episode, you got these super powerful people. Ain't nothing happening on the show. I'm like, so what am I watching? This isn't Titans. This isn't what I grew up, watching on TV. And so my friend was like, well, you think you can do better? Why don't you write something? Like, what? I'm supposed to do what now? Right. What's that? And for 3 weeks, she just kept poking the bear. Like, you keep critiquing this show, do something. What you gonna do? Have you started writing yet? And so off of a dare and to get her to leave me alone, I started writing the Affinity Theory. And 3 years later, we had the Affinity Theory come out in October of 2024, and the rest is history.
Okay. I'm hearing you say that you were watching a lot of things. So you didn't grow up reading Marvel and the other stuff.
No. So I read a bunch of different things growing up, but I was more visual. I love watching the TV shows and the movies, and so I grew up watching like the Star Treks and the Star Wars and the X-Men movies, the MCU. I grew up watching a lot of cop shows like SWAT and FBI and Law and Order. Law and Order was my jam. Like, I love watching Jesse O. Martin, go down and get the bad guys, and then they gotta go take them to court and stuff like that. Like, I love watching those types of shows. Melrose Place, 90210, UPN, we had all our shows there, 101, Girlfriends. Like, I was engrossed in a lot of just consuming stories from the screen. And so I didn't spend a lot of time reading like comic books or things like that. But I love watching the visuals that people will come up with of the adaptations of like the X-Men's or the Iron Men and things like that. And so while I didn't grow up reading a lot and in my younger years, I spent a lot of time consuming a lot of stories. And so And so that's where a lot of my inspirations came from.
I want to loop back to when you were talking about Titans, and I'm not familiar with Titans, but I heard you say our characters, and it made me wonder because when I think of our characters, I'd be like, the black character is my character.
Yeah. Listen, so they had a character on there, Starfire. She's one of us. I'm like, oh, man, yes. And so, her whole family is black. The whole planet is black for the most part. I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. But Starfire she rarely used her powers. Had a whole dysfunctional relationship with the guy that was supposed to be like the Superman, the Teen Titan version of Superman. And again, barely got to see her powers, barely got to see her sister use her powers. And that's not just with her. All the characters were like that. And I'm just like, bro, y'all got all these powers. What are we doing? Like, we barely get to see y'all do anything. The bad guys keep mollywopping on y'all. I'm tired. When are y'all gonna show up? And so for me, I felt like that show really did a disservice, not just to us in particular, but to just the characters in general, because again, a lot of us, nerds, black nerds in particular, we grew up watching Batman and Superman and Starfire and Robin and all these guys. And so, for us to see our characters and the people that we've looked up to over the years be just uber humanized and uber dysfunctional. It's like, this ain't it. This ain't hitting like I thought it was. Y'all hyping this show up like it's supposed to be the best thing ever. This ain't it for me.
Okay. I didn't watch. I think I've watched like 2. Have you ever heard of a show called The Boys?
Yes.
Okay. So I watched maybe 2 episodes of it, but my husband was into it. But then at the end of I don't know, last season or something, he's like, I'm done with it, because he's like, the black character got knocked out by a big white penis, and he's like, what is going on?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro,
like
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, y'all, you don't have to go that extreme to tell a good superhero story. Like, why does everything have to go to the absurd, the dysfunctional? Like, when are we going to get a good superhero story that doesn't have to take it to such extremes just for viewing? Because a lot of people want to see superheroes beat stuff up on TV, save the day, all those things. But it seems like more and more it's for shock value than it is for substantive storytelling. And so for me, that's what frustrated me. I'm like, dude, so for my stories, for instance, think SWAT with superpowers. You got Sergeant Hondo, he's running his team, and we going in to save the day, and we gonna have some little issues here and there because we human, but we not finna have penises smacking us in the face, like it's not. It don't take all that to tell a good superhero story. And so that when I tell people when they ask what my stories are like, I'm like, think SWAT with superpowers, think FBI with superpowers, think The Rookie with superpowers. That's what you're getting into with my stories. Because again, it doesn't take a whole lot of shock value to make people want to dive into your world. Because it seems like no matter where we turn, especially when it comes to us, we always have to be taken to such an extreme measure in order for a story to be told. It's like, no, we can actually have regular stories with some superpowers.
Were you a Black Lightning fan?
I was up until China left, and then it kind of upset me a little bit. But so I haven't finished Black Lightning, but my wife did, and she told me that's your homework assignment this summer. So I got to go back and finish like those last couple of seasons. But Black Lightning was great.
I watched it with my son because he was, at that age, at that time, and the last season not so much, but up until that it was fire, and the soundtrack was even better. Oh my goodness! Oh, yeah. And then they grabbed social issues in there. It was
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
It was definitely a story of us. It was definitely a story of us. And I can appreciate the fact that he was trying so hard not to. The thing I loved about Black Lightning, if you paid attention, was that he never wanted to use his powers. He was always trying to go, can we not do this without the powers? But whenever it got to that point, it's like, okay, let's suit up.
Right.
I tried the right way. Y'all ain't trying to hear me, so let me go put the suit on. Right. To work.
All right. I'm not like a superhero person, but I'm a Black us person. And so as I read, I kept going back to the cover because I really enjoyed looking at the people on the cover.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see, Mr. Williams in his t-shirt. You can see the image behind him. But what I really appreciated about the cover is that it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Black us. And even as I was reading the story, it was like I was like, it's a Black world. Like I just felt like it was like, and I was really like here for that and excited by that and very appreciative of it. Because I feel like in my writing, just forget all. It's just us. It's just us in our world. So,
no, I did that for 2 reasons. One, it's us. And so that just bar none. Like I can only write what I know, and the Black experience is all I know. And so you'll have some people who will come on the chats and stuff like that and be like, sometimes, hey, you ain't got no diversity and stuff like that. And I'll tell them I don't know enough about other people's experiences to be able to write about it. And so I'm not going to try to pretend like I know what y'all worlds is like outside of the perspective that I have, number one. And then 2, I got to be privileged to be in the room where it happens with a lot of people, especially Black women who, I champion y'all all day long because y'all be holding it down for us in so many different ways. And I got privileged to be in a lot of those rooms. And so there's a scene in book 1 where, Simone is looking at the wall of heroes and she sees Daisy's braids. And she's like looking at her locks and is like, God, I wish that's the only reason why I don't want locks, because I wish I could do my hair like that. I wish I could put braids in my hair. And that was literally a conversation I heard 2, women that I got to sit and eat lunch with one day. They were literally having a conversation about their hairstyles because one of them had dreads, the other one had braids. She's like, girl, I wish I could do that. And I'm sitting there taking notes. I'm like, okay, so let me write this down. And we split that into the book. And so a lot of the conversations that you see within the pages are literally conversations that I was privileged to be in the room, to be able to sit down and listen to the banter that they had. And so, that's number 1. And then number 2, to elevate the conversation about race in my world, I made the races about it being whether you have powers or you don't. And so we're still having the same conversations that we have in our world here. But again, they're on a whole different planet and a whole nother part of the galaxy. And so they have no concept of race the way that we do in their world. Their world is, do you have powers or don't you? And those same conversations that we're having even today in 2025 are the same conversations they're having on the planet Euretha, but their conversations are more about the power structures than they are about skin tone. And so again, we wanted to minimize the conversation about skin race while still elevating the race conversation. So that way, it makes it simplified, but at the same time gives us the opportunity to be celebrated, because it's not anybody can be a hero. Anybody can have powers. Anybody can be the heroes, the villains, the good guys, the bad guys, the leaders, the baristas. You can be any and everything. And it gives us an opportunity to celebrate us and the various facets that we play in all of society.
So I want to jump in because you touched on world building. So I want you to just give us a little more about the world of Euretha for people who are new to your Affinity Saga. Tell us a little about, a lot if you want, about Euretha, and also how you went about building this world, how that came about.
So again, first off, again, I can only write what I know. And so I wanted it to be a celebration of us. That, again, anybody can be powerful. Anybody can be a hero. Anybody can be a villain. Good guy, bad guy, leader. We are all of those things. We're not just a trope or a caricature. We are the vast, gamut of, the spectrum from one side to the other. I wanted the planet to be mostly powered people so that the powers themselves don't make our people special. Because most of the superhero books that I was reading or the superhero stories that I saw were gods among mortals. I didn't want it to be that kind of world. Everybody's got powers. So you can fly. Ooh, so what? I can shoot laser beams out of my eyes. Ooh, so what? I can shoot electricity out my fingers. Ooh, so what? I can run fast. So powers don't make you special. It's what you choose to do with them that makes you special. The planet of Euretha is split into 11 mega cities, 11 mega city states. And Uri City is where my characters reside. Uri City is the unofficial capital of the world. They don't run the world per se, but they highly sway everything else that goes on in the world. And within this world, within this city, there are contract defenders, defender organizations that are contracted by the city to help defend the city when the cops or even lower level power people can't handle the situation. And so that's where you find our heroes, the elite. They are part of an organization called the Company. And anytime the city needs them to help defend the city from whatever is happening and they can't handle it, they're getting the call. And so Malcolm, Simone, Alexia, Malaysia, Daisy, Carl, and Duncan, they are summoned to go and handle whatever the city can't in defense of the city. And in doing so, they go, rush in, save the day, and they get out. And so a lot of what you're getting into is watching them go about their day to day, trying to save the world, while simultaneously this brooding dark force is starting to really ramp things up and begin the saga, the Affinity Saga, as we begin to see it. And in doing so, recognize that what they have been doing in terms of defending their city, they're going to have to ramp up how they fight because they're having to prepare for a higher form of war that's coming. And so that's Aretha, man. It's a lot of fun. Very much futurism, Wakanda esque, if you will, and gives us an opportunity again to really see that we are more than the tropes that we tend to see in our media, and that we can literally be anybody, the good guys, the bad guys, any and everybody within this world.
Okay. So I have a question about your, I was going to say real life versus your author life, but your author life is also real, but
all good.
Bear with me.
Understand.
Bear with me. So how does your work as a therapist inform writing the relationships in your books?
Yeah. So, I'm big on relationship dynamics. I went to school for that purpose, diving into relationships, marriages, families, sibling rivalries, work dynamics, and trauma. And so a lot of what you see in the writing is based in how these relationships are formed and how they evolve over time. There's a system that I utilize in my therapy called the Enneagram. That's ENNEAGRAM. It's a 9-point personality type system that gives you a basic set of character traits that then determine how you would act in certain situations. So if you're stressed, what would you look like? If you're happy, what would you look like? If you are overjoyed, what would that look like? If you're sad, what would that look like? And so I use that system to develop the characters so that now if I put these characters in this situation, all 7 of them are going to act differently in this situation. And it's going to be based upon what this personality type system says. And it leaves room for evolution. And so while in book 1, these characters may be acting a certain way, as they're evolving, that personality system also informs this is what they'll start to look like if they heal this, or if they stay traumatized in that. And so my wife, for instance, she can't stand Simone's character because Simone's character tends to be very flighty. And she's like, I'm just waiting for her to stop being so flighty. And I keep saying, I can't change that yet because she's not there yet. So it'd be easy to change it because I could just easily do a rewrite, but then that would negate her personality and it would negate her evolution. And so And so using that personality type system specifically, but also knowing the ins and outs of relationship dynamics has highly informed how the characters are being developed and what to expect from them as they're evolving through the situations that they're going through. It makes for some very interesting interactions when they get in, especially in book 2, when they start to get into some of the politics of their world and how it informs and impacts the thoughts that they have and the decisions they have to make.
So you are deep into the character arc. Thank you for that, because I feel like there are some authors who don't honor the arc. Like, let's have a little growth, even if it's not the full arc, but have some change from the beginning of the story to the end.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, some people don't change or they change. You can barely tell. Some people have massive changes.
But I just mean, when we're talking about character development, especially stories that are character driven, you want to see how is what they're experiencing going to change them or not, like you said, or not. Or some people just have a little bit of change and that's just their journey.
Yeah. No, listen, my characters argue with me all the time. I'm in the middle of writing book 4 right now, and I had to do a whole rewrite because my characters, they said to me, dude, we've grown since book 2 now. Like, what you doing? Like, we are not those same people that we were. Like, you trying to write like we ain't just went through what we went through in book 2, or 3. So why are you making us like this? And I was like, you know what? My bad, y'all. My bad. Let me go back. I gotta go rewrite all of 4 in these specific spaces because the characters have indeed changed and grown. And so you're absolutely right. I didn't anticipate the complexity of evolution, but thank God for notebooks. Thank God for scratch paper. Thank God for cell phones, because anytime we have a little thought, let's make sure we're writing that down. Because the characters have indeed grown, they have changed, they have evolved, and that's the beauty of the books in the story. We get to see them grow, just like when we watch TV or when we watch our favorite shows when they've gone 8-9 seasons in. We're hoping to see some growth, some change. Right. Yeah, you kind of still the core essence of who you are. But I'll oftentimes be looking at a show, but like, bro, you've been dealing with this since season 2, bro. Like, it's season 5 now. What are you doing? Why are you still acting this way? It's time to grow up, bro. And so yeah, I definitely appreciate having that system in place so that it helps me to stay informed on, now that this person's gone through this situation and we've seen the development thereof, how are they going to move now compared to how they were in the beginning? Especially because, again, but my wife, she's so mad. She's like, will she finally grow up? I'm like, I don't know yet. I don't know. We gotta wait and see. We gotta wait and see.
Well, thank you for honoring the story, because as writers, we know we can have something in mind, but the story going to tell us different, or the character is going to drive us in another direction. And, that's where it's supposed to go.
I want to piggyback on this conversation about the relationships among the characters, which I really appreciated. I heard you mention earlier functional relationships and that you're a girl dad, and I could kind of feel it in the portrayal of the relationships between the men and the women, the women and the women, the men and the men, just like all of those dynamics, dating, friendships. Like, I really appreciated your portrayal of those, and that they were, for the most part, not drama filled. I mean, there was some tension, there was some drama, but it wasn't depressing or demoralizing. It felt real, it felt authentic and encouraging and inspiring.
No, absolutely. And that was why, again, having watched all the other different shows that I've been watching and things like that, I was like, I want this to feel like you're watching a serialized drama where, yes, they have some issues, but those issues are not the drivers of the story. Again, yes, we're going to have issues. Yes, we're going to have problems. But more often than not, we go to work, we have our friendships, we have our relationships, we have our working relationships, we have our bosses, we go to work, we do our jobs, we go home. For the vast majority of us, that is the gamut of life. Like there's the drama is not up to here with every single situation that we go through. Our friendships are not drama filled to the high degree. Our relationships are not drama filled to the high degree. And so I didn't want to take away from the story by making the drama so filled that it takes away from what's happening within it. And so, again, taking cues from 911, The Rookie, SWAT, NCIS, we'll see the characters that have their issues here and there, but they'll hit it and then go back to the main story. Come back to the issue for a moment, go back to the main story. And so that's what I wanted the pacing of the story to feel like. Like you could watch this on TV and this could be a serialized drama that you watch for 10, 15 episodes and you not feel like, oh my God, are they so much, so depressing, so this, so that. And instead it's action packed, got a lot of good banter, and it feels like you're with your friends. Feels like you're with your brothers and sisters. Feels like you're with the people that you're in love with. And again, it's not so high drama to the point where it takes away from the story itself and feels like another, trauma-filled Black story. Instead, it becomes an opportunity for us to see the different facets of who we are and recognize that we too can have what feels like normal experiences.
I was going to say, I don't know where I heard this little rumor, but aren't you adapting it for YA novel?
Yes, absolutely. So what we did is we have the edited version. I have a copy of it right here in my hands, where because again, the original script is for adults, it's for the grown folk. They cuss and they do something else that rhymes with cuss. And so a lot of people were like, dude, can my son read it? Can my daughter read it? Can, my kids read it? And I was like, no, they can't read it. My kids were asking, hey, Dad, when can I read your book? Never. And so because of them and because of everyone who was asking for it, we took out the vast majority of the cuss words and we removed the spicy scene because there's only one scene in the book. Took the spicy scene out the book and created the edited version for the teens. So that way you get the same meaty story, still a good 490 some pages, but we remove those two major elements. So that way the teens can have a copy of it as well. So get grown folk, get the adult version, teens get the edited version, or for people who don't like spice, don't like a lot of cussing, they can get it too. I sold a couple of those to the church members because they didn't want a lot of cuss words, didn't want spicy scene in their book. And everybody can enjoy the story. So yes, we have done that for book 1. We're going to start adapting book 2 at the end of this month to get it ready for the end of August, early September release of the edited version. We're going to do every book like that from now to the end of the saga.
Okay, because that was another one of my questions. Can your daughters read the YA version? So yes, the YA version they can.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to ask you about your writing process. It sounds like you're working with a team, but it also sounds like you're working very diligently. How do you incorporate your writing into your life? Is it something that you do every morning from 9 to 3, or every afternoon from 7 to 9 I write, or when the mood hits me I write, or what is your process?
So from the beginning, my process has been that for every day for 5 minutes, do something book related. Simple goal. Simple goal. And I got that from a guy by the name of James Clear, who wrote this book called Atomic Habits, ATOMIC Habits. And he said, make your goal, make it simple, make it replicable. And so every day for 5 minutes, I do something book related. So that way, if I don't get to write today, but maybe I'm on a podcast, for instance, I've done something book related today. If I just make a video to put on TikTok, I've done something book related today. If I get to edit something, I've done something book related. Add a song to a playlist, do something book related. The process for me, overarching is, I'm a plotter. And so I will do the basic outline of the book, and just make all the major points that I'm trying to hit. Deal with some character development. Where do I want the characters to go? What do I want the characters to be dealing with? Some of the world building. For instance, with book 2, we had to figure out a whole, what is the proposition that they're going to vote on? What's the good guys manifesto versus the bad guys manifesto? How is this impacting them, the characters? Where do they fall on the proposition? Are they for it? Are they against it? Are they neutral? Are they oblivious? And so working on those dynamics, and then from there, just continuing to expand on the outline. So every chapter has its own outline. By the time we start actually writing the draft, I will have written out the chapters at least 3 times, with the major outline, the chapter outlines, and then just expanding on those chapters before finally writing them down. The first draft, as writers, we know it's going to be trash. If anybody read the first draft of Affinity Theory, they're gonna be like, dude, don't quit your day job, because that ain't gonna work. And so once we get the first draft completed, then we go through, start expanding on the chapters, do all the scene edits, making sure the continuity errors, we try to fill all the plot holes, expand on this, make sense of that, make sure the characters are developing in an appropriate way. And so we'll go through about 2, maybe 3 rounds of edits before finally taking it to the alpha reader. Oh, and let me not forget, my wife is here every step of the way. We read every chapter. I read every chapter out loud to her. She gives me her feedback, gives me her thoughts. If she don't like the book, I ain't writing. It's because she'll DNF a book in a heartbeat. And so I already know she's the best person to ask, is this book even worth it? And so the fact that she's read these books 50 times lets me know, okay, we might be on to something. But I told her even yesterday, if I read book 3 to you, you tell me it's trash, I'm gonna rewrite the whole thing, because you are the test. Make sure this book is gonna be right. But once we get done with that, we get done with the last round of edit, I then send it to the alpha readers. They read it, they critique it, bring it back to me. I make some more changes, give it to the copy editor, who goes in, I's dotted, T's crossed, bring it back to me. Do that, and then we'll take it to the betas, last round of edits if there's anything that needs to be changed, and then from there we get ready for publication.
Okay, so who is we? You and your wife, or is there? It sounds like is it 9 people?
It sounds like a royal we.
Oh, okay. Is it the royal we?
I mean, listen, my wife has been here every step of the way. And so, like I said, she doesn't write, but her input is so invaluable. There have been times where she would tell me, no, that actually doesn't make sense, because back in this chapter, they did this. So why is he now? And I'm like, dang, I didn't think about that. Let me write that down. Let me chew on it for a bit. And so even though she won't let me give her credit by giving her a byline, or with Nicole Williams too, at the same time, she's been very invaluable. A lot of her input has led to the pages being published. And so, though I'm the writer, she is the analyst. She's the one saying yay or nay. This looks good. This sounds great. This is awesome. I always ask her, what are your thoughts after we get done reading something? And she'll let me know. She's like, no, yeah, this makes sense. Or, man, that was so freaking awesome. I can see everything. And so she is an invaluable part of the drafting process and the editing process. Without her, there wouldn't be no book. Because again, once she really started getting into it and recognizing like how awesome it was in her eyes, she is again one of the best people to ever give me your true opinion. She's not a cheerleader, which is like, yeah, do it. She's like, yeah, you could do that, but you should probably think about this. And again, her critique is so invaluable. There would be no books without her. And so the we is really her and me. But she, she's like, you be the face of it. I'm just gonna be back here in the background.
Acknowledgements.
Right. Exactly. So,
give us a little snapshot of the members of the elite unit, and then tell us if you have a favorite character.
So I'll give you book 2, the characters, because we've added a character to the elite unit.
Okay.
And so I wish that I didn't have a glare on my poster, because I could just then point to them this way, but I got a whole glare, so I can't see all the people like I want to. So I'm gonna just hold my book up.
Okay.
And so you have Malcolm Bennett. He's the leader of the elite unit. His power is molecular manipulation. He can change anything into anything. He's been the leader of the unit for about 5 or 6 years. Been on the team for about 7 of those years. Simone Watson is the first newbie in the Affinity Theory on the team, and her power is energy generation. She has the power of the sun flowing through her veins, and so can create stars and can levitate. Here in the corner in purple is Malaysia Jones. That's the shirt that I'm wearing right now. She has the power of superior eyesight, and so she can see infrared, thermal, X-ray, zoom in and zoom out, and she used that power to make herself the most precise tactician on the planet. Right here is Carl Luther. His power is the gift of healing, and he used that power to make himself the strongest person on the planet. And so he has the strength of about 15 men. Think the Hulk, but he's a gentle giant rather than a Hulk out monster. He's a gentle giant. Alexia Montague, her power is the mystic arts, and so she's a telepath and a telekinetic. And so if you think like Jean Grey, kind of a cross between Jean Grey and Professor X from X-Men, and that's what you kind of get into with her powers in that regard. Daisy Parker's power is hyperkinesis. She runs fast, she talks fast, she thinks fast, she eats, everything she does is very fast. Joy Olivier, who's the newest member of the team in book 2, her power is electricity generation. She's a living battery and can command electricity at will and can siphon electricity from any device. And then you have Duncan Blake, whose power is cybernetics. And so he's literally a living weapon. He's a cross between Iron Man, Mega Man, and Cyborg from the DC comics. And that's what you get into with him. Now, Malcolm is very cool, calm, and collect, but he has a hard time speaking his mind. And so he's got to learn how to speak up a little bit more. Simone Watson, she is a diehard fight. She loves getting into fights with folks. Like if she can fight all day, that's all she would do. But she's also very flighty as well. So think fight or flight. She does both of them. Malaysia, she's very observant, doesn't talk a whole lot. But she's very observant and is basically everyone's watchful eye and watchful guardian. Again, Carl Luther, he doesn't talk much either. Gentle giant, but very wise. And so when he does speak, you have to pay attention to what he's saying. Daisy Parker is a little full of herself. She comes from high society, and so she kind of has a sense of entitlement to her. But she still has a heart of gold and is willing and ready to get into a fight with anybody. Joy Olivier, she comes from a land that was decimated in her childhood, and so she's got a little bit of trauma that she's kind of working out and working through. So she has a lot of anxiety and is unsure of herself a lot of times, but homegirl can throw down. And so for her to not be sure of herself, she sure does prove herself over and over again. And then Duncan Blake, he's a hothead. Like, he's going to shoot first, ask questions later, get into a whole bunch of trouble. And we just want him to grow up. Like, will you please sit down somewhere and please grow up just one time? But this is the lovely family of the Elite Defenders unit. And they are out here trying to save their city, trying to defend their city from any and all issues and live their lives from day to day.
And do you have a favorite character? Don't try to
yes,
my question.
No, I forgot about it. So my favorite character is actually not in the Elite. My favorite character, if you guys will get to know him because his character evolves over the course of the saga as well. My favorite character's name is Dredge. He is a computer hacker. He can make computers do whatever he wants to make them do. And his character is just so, he's funny, he's witty, he don't care, he's hungry all the time, and he pulls he pulls something out of Malcolm where it's like Malcolm wants to big brother him so badly, but Dredge is like, nah, bruh, I'm good. Get off me. Get off. I ain't with that life. And so you see a lot of contention between them, but it's very much like, if you can remember Tyrese's role off of Fast and Furious and then mix him with Kevin Hart, that's what you get with Dredge. And so Dredge is actually my favorite character of the series because he's just a lot of fun, and he mixes things up for the elite in a way that is really it really helps them to break out of the monotony and the seriousness of what they're having to do while simultaneously being a valued asset to their team. And so we get to see his evolution from book 1 to book 2 and beyond as he becomes a part of the company and gets to really flex his superior intellect. Like, this man is a freaking genius. And so he's actually my favorite character. He doesn't have a power, but the fact that he is so helpful, so intelligent, and so savvy is what makes him an incredible part of the team, and that's my favorite character. He's my favorite character. The name is Dredge.
Okay.
Okay.
So give us a little taste of what we're going to get in Echoes.
So the Elite Defenders, Malcolm Simone, the Elite Defenders unit must stand united against a rogue political faction in a battle for the soul of Uri City. Chancellor Croft and his proposition 1, whether the powered can have the city's permission to enter into elected offices, is about to be voted on, and a rogue political faction shows up to ensure that that vote goes through. And so they start to lay waste to some things, and now the Elite Defenders have some hard choices to make because some are for it, some are against it, and it has the potential to tear and drive a wedge between the elite themselves as they're being summoned by the city to take down this rogue political faction. And so the question becomes, will the Elite Defenders stand united against this colossal juggernaut's assault, or will the monsters of their past eviscerate them and seize possession of the soul of a nation? It's X-Men meets True Blood meets Captain America Civil War in an epic clash of the Titans that you do not want to miss. That's Echoes, book 2 of the Affinity Saga.
I felt like I was hearing, the voice on the trailer. All right, Addie, you did that.
Yo. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Been practicing for a minute.
You did that.
I want to ask about challenges and successes. I want to ask about your greatest challenge and success as a writer, and also your greatest challenge and success to date as a marketer of your work.
Yeah, the greatest challenge in the beginning was just getting over those imposter syndromes. You're never gonna be this, you're never gonna do that, no one's gonna care about your writing sucks, all those things. There's a lot of hurdles to get over because, again, I didn't know anybody in the industry. I'd never written anything before. People that I did give the book to read, they would read like 2 pages and then they wouldn't talk to me no more about the book at all, stop reading it and stuff. And I'm just like, well, maybe my book is trash. I don't know. So the hardest part for me was just getting over that imposter syndrome and trying to remind myself that, hey, you're writing this for you. You're writing this for you. Of course you want other people to read it. Of course you want other people to love it, but you're writing this for you. This is your response to Titans. This is your response to all the things you said, and so you took on this challenge. And so really just getting over the hump of, is my writing even worth it? Is it worth me even trying to put this out here? Especially when we started doing the querying, trying to get a publisher to pick up the book. No one was biting. They all had different opinions of how long the book needed to be, how short the book needed to be. And then once I started getting into the editing phase, the word count kept getting higher. I would give it to an alpha reader. They'd say I was missing a key element throughout the whole book, so the word count would get higher. give it to the beta reader. You're missing this stuff. The word count would get higher. I'm like, ain't nobody can get this book. Ain't nobody gonna take this book. My book is 180,000 words. No, they keep saying 100,000 max for a debut. And so to that end, decided to go the indie route and got connected with some people. And again, the rest became history. Marketing, the hardest challenge has been trying to find the way to make me not have to be so front facing. The vast majority of the sales that I made with book one was from TikTok. And so with TikTok, you got to be on camera, you got to be energetic, you got to, show the hype, show how excellent you are, how excellent the book is. And you got to, deal with the haters that come on there and try to, navigate those minefields without, becoming, see, that's what I told you. And so trying to deal with all of that, but then doing it every day. That became exhausting because there's so many other parts that need to be done, like figuring out where to put the book and how to get it on this platform and how to get it on that platform, how to get it into the bookstores and all these other things. And so the biggest challenge for me marketing wise is trying to streamline a way to where I don't have to be as forward facing every single day so that sales can be made. Again, not expecting to get like 50 sales a day, but 5, maybe even 3 would be amazing. To get to a point where I can do that consistently without having to go on TikTok live for 2 or 3 hours a day to get those 2 or 3 sales. And so that's been the biggest challenge for me is trying to streamline and automate. That's the word I'm looking for. Automate generating sales without having to be on camera to do it.
In terms of your successes, what's been your greatest success as a writer? What's been your greatest success as a marketer?
Yes. So let me go back to the writing aspect, the successes, because the greatest success has been selling these books. Like, I didn't know how many people like this book. Like, I was like, wait, y'all actually like this book? And so, when my parents told me, where your book at? I was like, what? Huh? My parents are pastor and first lady. My book wrong. I didn't think they were going to want anything to do with it. But they were like, no, I want to read your book. And my mom is literally calling me, texting me saying, dude, your book kept me up tonight. Dude, you made me late for my walking appointment. Dude, like you made me late for cooking dinner. Like I knew you were imaginative, but I didn't know you had all this in you. And so when my dad, because we attend his church, calls me up to the pulpit and says, hey, where your book at? What do you mean? This is church. What are you talking about? He was like, no, give me your book. And so I give him a book and he's like, yeah, my son wrote a book. Y'all need to buy his book. And this is in church. I'm like, what's happening right now? And sure enough, people are coming to, get copies or, say, hey, find me next week and stuff like that. And so that for me was the crowning achievement in that, I wrote something that everybody enjoys. From the people that I don't know to the people who are right here next to me, so many people enjoy the story. And so for me, that was probably like the biggest thing, having my kids and having my wife say, God, I love your book and I love everything about it. Love the church and their support, my parents and their support. Like that's been like the biggest achievement for me because again, I didn't know how successful this book was going to be. And so for them to, again, my mom literally calling me saying, hey man, like where book 2 at? That was like, okay, we in there now. We are in there now. Marketing wise, the greatest success would probably have to be, being able to find a way to create the merch. In so much that people are kept asking for things. Can I get a bookmark? Can I get a cup? Can I get a mug? Can I get shirts and stuff like that? Now, mind you, no one's really bitten on those yet. but being able to find a way to create these other pockets and avenues of being able to market the book and sell the book and give the book to other people through the merch, I would say is probably the biggest success for me, because it shows that there's a way to diversify this, where people don't want to just see, they don't just want the book. They want other things that go with it. They want the posters. They want, the be able to wear the shirt and wear it out in public and things like that. And so for me, I think being able to be in a position where we're able to provide people with things that, will just amplify the experience for them, I think has been the greatest success that we've accomplished so far. I know for me, the biggest accomplishment that we will achieve 26, we'll turn to these things into audiobooks. At that point, y'all better leave me alone. Y'all asking for the audiobooks? Y'all better leave me alone. Because y'all got one more time to ask me for an audiobook. I got to record. Now I got to learn how to record stuff. But I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I'm getting more and more excited about it the more we talk about it. And so that will be the greatest achievement, because then there'll be no excuse. Because people have been like, well, you ain't got it in the audio, so I'm not going to buy it. Okay, bet. So we're going to put it in every format. Now say something.
Can you talk about how you write action scenes?
Listen, that's my favorite part of the writing process, man. We literally choreograph every battle sequence. So I'm talking about, I get to relive my childhood, go in the backyard and play Power Rangers. So we literally choreograph every sequence so that So there's like a scene where
Is there footage of this?
There is no footage, thankfully. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody caught me on camera one day. Because listen, while I was at work, when I used to work for the prison, I would get up from my desk and be like, okay, so do this and then this. And they were like, what are you doing? I'm taking notes. And now, what does that look like? What does that feel like? When I do this, what does that feel like? And so every sequence has literally been choreographed so that you feel everything in the books. I even brought my wife into it, because there's scenes between Malcolm and Simone in book 1, for instance, where they're in the training room and they're fighting, and so they got to get close, and he's straddling, she's straddling, and so I'm like, okay, so we gonna have to let me figure out what this. Let me do this. Let me throw you here and throw you in, and so those scenes are literally, they've been choreographed so that you feel everything. I didn't want the book to be like, they threw a bunch of punches and kicks and then they landed one and he got knocked out. I wanted everyone to feel these scenes. And so literally, again, in the backyard, acting things out. When it comes to like Malaysia, and when she has her her bow and arrow, my daughter, she was taking up archery. I literally went and started using it. Like, okay, so it feels like this. So she pulls it taut. This is what the string is. This is what a knock is. So that way now I know this is what Malaysia does when she's out shooting her bows. So I will take a water pistol, water guns, and and this is what the trigger feels like, and those sort of things. So that way you feel everything within those battle scenes. I wanted those battle scenes to be legendary. Again, this is me mad at Titans. So I'm being petty. This is me being petty. Y'all gonna feel these battles. I'm sick of what they did. Y'all gonna feel these battles. And so every punch, every kick, every use of the powers, you feel them. So that way you are truly immersed in their world and get to really experience what they're experiencing in those battlefields.
Okay. Now, if you were a superhero, what would your power be? You only get one.
No, yeah, I want to fly. Hands down, I want to fly. I'm tired of gas. I'm tired of gas prices. And if it's just me, I just want to be able to go where I want to go. So I want to fly. I would love to be able to fly, because then if I just want to go somewhere and be there and not have to worry about land or air or sea and paying tickets or gas and all that, I just go. And so yeah, no, hands down, I want to fly. I'm the eagle. Fly, eagle, fly.
So tell us, what does writing while Black mean to you?
Man, it's about me having this amazing experience of being Black and being able to tell our stories our way. Every time I get on TikTok or somewhere going live talking about the books or what have you, it's always a hater that comes in there. It's talking about, oh, your book's not diverse, or oh, you're DEI, or oh, you're this and you're that. And and it's haterade. So it's not like I'm worried about it or anything like that. But it just goes to show that even when we try to create spaces for ourselves, mind you, all of us are inclusive. Like, if you want to read my book, hey, you want to spend the money, go and get you a book. But, we try to create these spaces to celebrate and highlight us and who we are. And there's always somebody who's got something to say, whether we do it or whether we don't. There's always going to be somebody that's got something to say. But I am a true advocate of write your story, because nobody can write it better than you. And as a Black man in America, with everything that we're facing now more so than ever before, our stories matter more than ever. I finished writing Echoes at the end of 2022. I had no idea the relevance that Echoes would have in our culture today. I'm talking about as of right now, with who's in the office and everything that's going down with Project 2025 and all those things, I had no idea how relevant this book was going to be. Again, I just wanted to tell a superhero story. I didn't know the relevance. And so when people have been reading this book, they be like, bro, how did you know? How did you know this? How did you know we were going to be dealing with this right now? I was like, I had no clue. No, I was just writing what I experienced 2020, 2019, 2018, and just wanted to put it in script with some superpowers. And so it's about us telling our stories, championing our experiences, and really showing people that we are more than the caricatures that people have put out there for us. Like, we are the vast spectrum of everything in this world. And if we don't tell our stories, who will? Because they're clearly trying to whitewash everything and trying to erase us in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. So now more than ever, our voices must be heard. Our voices must not be silenced. Even in therapy, I was talking to a client just today, and was telling her, the one thing that I'm proud of you of, if you don't get anything out of these sessions, is that you found your voice again. You reclaimed your voice and you're advocating for yourself. And so I tell anybody, if you have a story to tell it. Let that first draft be trash. It's supposed to be trash, but you tell your story, because again, there is somebody out there who needs to hear your story be told, even if it's just one person. Again, if don't nobody ever buy another book, I'm writing my stories for Nicole, because I know Nicole gonna love it or hate it, but I'm writing them for her. And so if no one else reads your story, that one person was the one person you were meant to touch. And so tell your story, because we deserve to hear those stories, because our voices, they truly, truly matter.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So right now you said you are writing book 4. So I have a question about the future. So the Affinity Saga, does it stop at book 4? Is that the end of this story? If it is, do you know what's next?
So the saga is a trilogy of trilogies. The saga will end with book 9. So every 3 books is an act. We're in the middle of act 1, doing all the world building, character development, getting to know the characters, the world, that sort of thing, and leading up to the introduction of the big bad. As I've said to many people, the elite unit is preparing, whether they know it or not, for a higher form of war. something they've never experienced before. And at the end of 3 will be the introduction of the big bad that this war is focused on. 4, 5, and 6 will be that war. 7, 8, and 9 will be the aftermath. And so once the saga ends, I've got some ideas as to what I would like to do, but I'm not quite sure as to what will be done. In that some people are trying to figure out if we can turn it into a TV show or movie and things like that. So hopefully, we're going to see what materializes of that. I may have to learn how to screenwrite at some point. But also there have been some ideas of doing like some spin-offs based upon some of the things that are embedded within the book. We have, for instance, what's called an asylum for the uncontrollable, in which anyone who is arrested or their powers are just out of control, they enter into this asylum for containment and training. And so there's an opportunity there. We have detectives in Yuri City. That may be a thing that may happen. But also, I've been looking into doing more nonfiction, particularly as it pertains to my faith in Christ. And so I've been thinking about trying to do some type of books and some trainings in biblical literacy with that. And then also, there was one other thing that was, I just had it and lost it just like that. Also, I may want to do just a true detective story where, we're here on Earth, and just do a detective story, good guys, bad guys, who done it, mystery be unveiled, and kind of go back to those Law and Order days of just trying to figure out who is the real bad guy in that regard. And so there's some ideas that are forming, but I definitely want to get this saga out first because it's my baby, it's my heart, and I know where the saga's headed, and I can't wait for y'all to see where it's going. So I'm certainly excited to get this thing finished. But we've got 9 books to get through all together to get to the finish line.
I love that I can see the kid in you. I love that.
Man, I just ready this all over again, man. I ready this all over again. I get to say it's more for time in my head.
Thank you. So this is my closing question. Is there anything that you wish that we had asked about you, or anything that you'd love to share about yourself and your work that didn't get elicited in this conversation that you want to put on the table?
Oh, I can't think of anything. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Anytime that anyone wants to ask me anything, I'm always just excited for the opportunity to speak. But I don't have anything. I'm such an open book. Like anything's on the table. So for me, if you didn't ask, it wasn't meant to be asked. And so no, I don't have anything I can think of, but I'm just grateful for this opportunity, grateful to have gotten this chance to speak with you guys today, and grateful to be able to showcase and highlight my babies, man. I'm proud of these misfits, man. I'm proud of them. They've done such an amazing work, and I'm just happy to be able to showcase them to the masses, and hope that they're able to inspire others the way that they've inspired me to just keep dreaming and keep believing that we too can be heroes.
I have a story that I'm working on, so I was really excited to read yours. Mine, instead of using an Enneagram, it uses astrology. So it's 12 houses. And so I really appreciated, one, I'm not a superhero person, but watching the TV show Heroes made me feel like I want to see, so that kind of inspired it.
See, and that show too made me mad though, man. Cause like y'all had it in the bag. Y'all had it in the bag and you dropped it. You got me in my feelings again, man. I was so mad about that show. I was so mad about that show because they had it. Like no other show was doing what they were doing, and they just
they dropped the bag. They dropped it. Yeah.
I had erased that memory from my head, and
I'm re-traumatized.
Yeah, man, that one hurt. That one hurt. Oh, that one hurt. Because for real, that first season and a half, and what messed them up though was that writer strike. The writer strike messed them up. They had to do a shortened season, and every character development they had, they rushed. everything, and it just everything fell apart. So it wasn't completely their fault, but man, I was so upset. They had that in the bag, man. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Let's go. Oh, that would hurt.
I appreciated your work. Because I'm really not a superhero action kind of person, but I really enjoyed heroes and wanted to, and I really appreciate it because one of the themes or one of the things I want to explore is community and how we're stronger together. And so I just really resonated with that and was really grateful to see that and other people thinking about it and exploring it because I feel like it's so us. We're like a community oriented people. And so yeah, I thank you.
No, it's my pleasure, man. Again, go back to the cop shows that we watch. SWAT, NCIS, The Rookie, 911. They're all teams. Black Lightning was a family. Like, Black Panther was a unit. Like, no one was doing this stuff on their own. The Avengers, they're a team. They're a unit. No one was doing this stuff by themselves. And so again, that's the power of the community. And one of the reasons why, again, I wanted to make it, I didn't want to make it gods among mortals, is because if everybody's got powers, that means that all it takes is for me to be stronger than you one-on-one, and I got you. So let's build a team so that your weaknesses, I can shore up with my strengths. My weaknesses, you can shore up with your strengths. We work together as a unit rather than going off. That's why in the first chapter, when, Duncan goes off and does his own thing, everybody's like, bro, why did you go off on your own? You already knew none of us beat him. Why did you do that? Oh, I'm gonna get him by myself. For what? Wasn't even the mission, bro. So you went off and did something on your own. Now you in worse trouble than you was if you just would have stuck the script. And so again, those team dynamics, they're so important to me because again, we are indeed stronger together, even in the writing process. That's what I had to learn. Dude, get connected. You don't have to have all the answers. Go ask somebody who does. Because now that you get, not only are you getting your answers, but you're now making a connection that maybe you don't have to have the answer. You just ask this person, can you do this for me? Can you handle this for me? Maybe you're better at this than I am. How I got my editor, my alpha readers, my beta readers, all the things. And so, yeah, that unit, that strong together, it matters so much. And so I'm grateful that I was able to inspire you because, again, that's what heroes are for me. It's not about one person being able to do all the things. Shoot, even God is Trinity. We out here, no one's an island. We're all doing something together. And so no, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it inspired you, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Them 12 houses, that sound dope. I can't wait to see what you got going on with that. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds pretty deep. I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna hang back and I'm gonna let you cook. And then I'm gonna see, right? Okay. Oh, that's good stuff though, man.
I'm curious also about your writing team. I heard you talk about how you share with your wife. My husband has started doing something similar. And you talked about a little bit about your alpha and your beta readers and your editor. So what team do you have around you? What team have you created?
Yeah. So over the course of the Affinity Theory and it coming out, I've been able to build a team of alpha readers. The alpha readers are the first people who are going to get to see the script once I've gone through those first round of edits. They're the ones who are going to look at the book first, and as much as they love reading the book, they've actually got to tell me what's wrong with it. And so these are the first ones who are going to critique it. This is what's wrong with it. This is what needs to be fixed. This is the plot hole that needs to be, filled, all those sorts of things. And so I have about 3 or 4 of those who are on my team, who have decided they could handle that work, because usually they want to get the art book. They want it when it's finished. And so I said, mind you, I need you to tell me what's wrong, not tell me what's great. Tell me what's wrong. But I have those 3. My copy editor is a wonderful lady by the name of Kamaya Crawford. She does editing services. Met her on TikTok. Beautiful person, beautiful soul. Does incredible work, timely work. And she was very instrumental in Echoes in particular getting edited. And so I've got her locked in for life. For the duration of the book and probably even beyond. And then my beta readers, those are the ones who are willing to look at a more polished version of the book, and then be able to give me those final tweaks. Do we need to tweak anything? Is this book ready to be published, to go to ARC? And then, and so got about 3 of those people as well. And then from there, ARC readers, I just ask around, hey, do you want a free copy of the book? You know, whether you choose to, give me the feedback or not, do the reviews or not, do you want a copy of the book? I'll do about maybe 20, 30 of those. So the team is very much an eclectic group of people that I've met over the course of creating the Affinity Theory and now Echoes. And I got it locked in for life as long as they want to rock with me.
Well, Eddie, thank you so much for joining us today. We were so excited and are so excited to continue in this saga because I had no idea we in for the long haul. So I'm excited to see how it's gonna go.
Yes. Listen, y'all have no idea what's coming. I'm so excited for y'all.
So we're gonna need to have you back later, once we're further along in the saga.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Anytime you want me, I'm here. Anytime you want me, I'm here.
Thank you so much again for being our guest. And thank you everybody who's listening and watching for being here with us on Writing While Black. We come out every Wednesday. You can find season 1 available right now on Spotify and also on YouTube. And we'll see you next time. Oh, wait. Right on. Right on.
Reading, learning, growing, creating, while building, living, thinking, healing, loving, building, writing while black.